Hello and welcome to Afka Art Studio. Today we're going to talk about the front leg, the muscles and the tendons. And I'm going to give you a really important tip if you want to make good horse art coming up. So we start with the front leg and we add the shoulder blade to that because the shoulder blade is part of the whole limb. And the body of a horse is actually sort of hanging in between the front limbs. The limbs are not attached to the rest of the skeleton as such. This has implications for movement, which we will talk on in the video about horses' movements. Okay, so over the shoulder blade there's a bunch of muscles. It's mostly pectoral muscles, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and the deltoid muscle, and the triceps. And then everything is connected to the upper arm with ligaments. Now the point here, that sometimes sticks out of a horse, you can see that. We're only talking about muscles you can really see from the outside, right? So when we go to the upper arm, we get like the triceps, and that is mostly divided in the lateral head of the triceps. There's this big one here, and then there's the long one that goes to the shoulder blade, and that's called the long head of triceps. That's this one over here. And then these muscles are attached to the elbow, which again sort of sticks out. So you got these bundles of muscles. You want to know they're there. You don't want to always particularly paint them. So now we go to the muscles of the upper leg of the front leg. These muscles are basically extensors. There are only muscles above the knee. And they're a set of these long, thin muscles that taper to the point where they are attached to the knee. And then from the knee downwards, there's all these tendons that control all the movement. But it's sort of remote control. The control happens above the knee, and the tendons run all the way down the bones, all the way down to the bones in the hoof, which are phalanges, basically are our finger bones. So they all are connected to the knee, and the knee is a set of carpal bones. They're being held together by ligaments, and they also form guides. All these bands, they're all crossing each other, and it forms a guide for the tendons as they go downwards towards the lower half of the leg and the finger bones. So it's these muscles that create the shape of the leg. And there's only two spots where a little bit of bone sticks out. It's the elbow, and it's one of the carpal bones that sticks out a little bit. So we go from the knee down to the lower leg. So all these tendons go down, and then there's these bands that hold everything together. And if you have a very dry horse like an Arabian or a thoroughbred, you can sometimes actually see that. But the shape is basically just the bone, and only on the side the leg has been made a bit wider because there's these huge tendons that go down to the proximal seminoids, which are in the back of the joint down here. Moving on to the front view of the front leg. So we got another muscle here, long name, it doesn't matter. What matters is that together with the other muscles on the upper arm of the horse, these form a upside down V shape. And that V shape is always visible, and it's like out of this V shape come in a little bulge the extender muscles of that form the upper leg of a horse. And like I said, that upside down V shape is always visible. So that is something you do want to pay attention to. And then of course the muscles end at the knee, where they are attached with ligaments and tendons, and there's like all these straps that hold everything together. And then I want to repeat it one more time. There's muscles in the upper part of a horse's leg, and there are no muscles in the lower part of a horse's leg. Those are all tendons that are remote controlled by the extender muscles in the upper leg. Now, why is that so interesting? It's because there are these soft lines in the upper leg, and the lower leg, I wouldn't say has strong lines, but they are a little bit stronger than the upper leg. So let's give this a go with some dark outlines, just to make sure. So here's that inverted V, always there, and it's such a great way to make the horse leg come out of the body of the horse. So you've got these soft lines coming down, and then you get zip. You get sort of like a stronger curve, a line that makes a sharper turn, and it's this juxtaposition of softness and sharpness that will give your drawing strength and excitement. And that's one of the reasons I think horses are so beautiful, because you do have these shapes and planes and lines that make these soft to abrupt turns. Do I make myself clear? Let me know in the comments if you understand what I mean. And I do feel that if you do a lot of tracing from projecting or apps or putting it on your drawing tablet, I recognize it because the lines become so weak. There's nothing wrong with using photos for reference, but there is something wrong to slavishly following them and not have your own drawing style and your own strength come out. Does this make sense? Let me know in the comments if you have noticed this weakening of lines due to tracing. And now, as always, you matter, you are valued, and you are going to make great art.